In the past, his neighbors always talked about him, because Ju-young's father was a gangster, and they said his father's character passed down to his son. Then for them it will have a bad impact on their environment and all their neighbors. But Ju-young, who looked battered, could only be patient in facing this ordeal. He returned to his house. But when he entered his house, he was surprised to hear something from inside. The sound of a loud woman screaming came from inside the house. He seemed to recognize the sound of the scream, and immediately went inside to check what was happening. Suddenly he was very surprised when he saw what was happening in front of him. It turns out that his father had just beaten Yun until she was unconscious. His father had hit Ju-young's friend, Yun. He was shocked by what his father had done to his friend. His father told Ju-young that the woman suddenly came into the house and made a bold statement to him. A statement that says it is better not to have a father than to continue hurting his own son. Suddenly he remembered Yun's words a while ago when she wanted to talk to his father. Because of that, Yun experienced bad things from Ju-young's father. When he remembered and heard what happened, he was confused about what to do. He tried to be patient and calm, but he was actually very angry about it. He could only hold back his anger, still trying to remain calm. But what his father did to his friend was beyond the limit. Then his father tried to remind Ju-young, if she still does this to him, then he won't hesitate anymore. Finally, Ju-young's anger could no longer be contained. He grabbed a flower vase and immediately hit him. When the incident happened, Yun was still unconscious. In the incident where he had vented all his anger, that occurred because had hurt his closest friend. The incident caused Ju-young's father to be hospitalized. The doctor said Ju-young's father had little chance of recovering. Only a miracle can make him recover. It seems like he doesn't regret his actions at all, because the suffering he received will end. Returning to the juvenile prison, saw that people had gathered around the area, because Ju-young had fought with someone. The other prisoners thought Ju-young was crazy, and they thought that soon he would be transferred to another prison. An incident where he had defeated the person who previously challenged him, until finally the person was battered. It can be seen that his hand also has serious injuries and there is a tattoo that Ju-young knows about. A voice came from the speaker, indicating that free time had over and ordering the prisoners to return to their cells. They immediately returned to their respective cells. But in the window someone could be seen monitoring the situation there. Conversations ensued. What happened was very noisy. This happened because the contents of this prison were young people who were full of energy. He was one of the higher-ups at the juvenile prison, congratulating the man on being got out from the hospital. It seems that this high official really respects the man, because he will give the man everything he wants if he needs it. This top official is named Kwon Chang-sik, director of juvenile prison. Kwon asked the man who he wanted to meet in this prison. On the other side, the place where Ju-young is. The prisoners in the cell all looked silent and clumsy. It seemed like the prisoners there all looked scared by what had just happened. The incident where Ju-young went rampage again, but Jaehyun was the only one who looked calm. He opened the book again and wrote several things in the book. Wrote about the absurd situation that is currently happening. The absurd condition of a man in this cell. Suddenly one of the guards called Ju-young's name. He was called to go out the cell. Because there were visitors who wanted to meet Ju-young, hearing this he was a little surprised. He and the guards left the cell and were escorted to their destination. He was a little confused, who actually wanted to meet him. His mother couldn't have been, because had run away when she was young, then all relatives are cutting him off. He was still confused and kept thinking about this. The guard immediately opened the door, but Ju-young was a little surprised by this. He was surprised because the person who wanted to meet him was in the prison warden's office. The mysterious person who wanted to meet him was in the room, carrying a stick. When he saw this person, Ju-young felt confused and shocked, as if he couldn't believe that the person who wanted to meet him was person Ju-young hated the most. The person who made his life a mess, and the tragedy that was caused in the past. He looks happy because Ju-young is doing well in this prison. The person he once sent to the hospital. How surprised he was after seeing that person. He is the father of Ju-young, named Cha Gangryong. He still couldn't believe this, even though previously his father was in the hospital, but suddenly he was here. It was truly an unexpected occurrence that he would meet his father at this place. Kwon, the director of Juvenile Prison, was really enjoying this. He knew that Ju-young was very surprised by this. He told him that his father had been get out from the hospital some time ago. Kwon considers this lucky incident, because he met his father. Even though Ju-young remembered that his father had a small chance. But in fact his father was still in front of him, and his anger gradually arose. For him, it was natural that his son did not believe in his presence until now. Nothing can make him fall, Chai Gangryong, the right hand of the great organization. It looked like they were sitting together, and his father wanted to tell him something. When he first opened his eyes in the hospital, he was reminded of his son. He also became sad when he remembered his son Ju-young. Ju-young was still shocked by his father's unexpected reaction when he met him. It can be seen that his father really cried when he met Ju-young. That he really loves Ju-young until now, when heard that Ju-young was still confused. His crying was very natural, because that's what parents should be like when they haven't seen their child for a long time. But suddenly his father made a statement that made Ju-young completely stunned, that his father was the one who had carried out this plan for Yun. The incident where Yun wanted to visit Ju-young in prison at that time. An incident that made Ju-young very devastated. The incident was planned by his own father, so that Yun experienced bad things. Ju-young's dreams suddenly disappeared. But when that happened, Yun could still control his consciousness. He also saw someone in front of her. She immediately asked the person for help. He begged to be saved at that time. But what Yun saw shocked her. It turns out she saw Ju-young's father. When Yun saw Ju-young's father, he felt that she had seen a ghost. The statement she made in the past, such as it being better not to have a father like him. He would deny that statement, and for him this is what a father does to his son. Maybe for Yun this is not understandable. Because from the beginning Yun didn't have parents. According to his father at that time, Ju-young was to endure and stayed calm. However, in a past incident, his father saw something different from Ju-young. His father also speculated that the girl was the trigger for Ju-young's rampage. So his father tries to erase all the memories of Ju-young and Yun. To remove her from all the things that happen in Ju-young's life. For a better life. But suddenly something unexpected happened. Kwon was seen ordering the guard to stop someone. Seen as a result of his father's actions, Ju-young immediately went on a rampage wanting to beat him up. His anger was no longer contained. But the guards immediately stopped Ju-young's movements using strange weapons. As a result, he was electrocuted all over his body. Electrocuted, causing him to fall to the floor. The guards tried to holding Ju-young's movements using stun guns. Kwon was shocked by Ju-young's actions. He was still trying to resist the impact of the electro attack. His father stood in front of him, hoping that Ju-young would take revenge on him. Take revenge for what he has done to Ju-young and Yun's life. His father also talked about ways for Ju-young to get revenge on him. There are some of our members here in Juvenile. Right now, they have barely tattoos. But some of them will likely become the pillars of the organization in the future. His father also asked for proof from Ju-young, so he could defeat all its members. And control all systems in this juvenile prison. If one day Ju-young climbs high and gains recognition, Ju-young might be able to take down his father. Suppress him the second command, and prepare to face the heavenly dragon. Ju-young achieve what his father couldn't accomplish in his lifetime. If he succeeds in doing that, then his father's life will be complete. His father also told Kwon to take care of his son here. But suddenly the guards were shocked by what happened. It seems like Ju-young is trying to rise against this incident. Kwon was confused about what was happening. His father immediately left the room. Ju-young tried to get up because his father was talking nonsense. Ju-young didn't just let his father go. Because of his actions, Ju-young had to suffer, and Yun got bad things.